Welcome back, dear friends, to the Crimson Academy's course on Release the Sun by William Sears. In this section, dear friends, we're covering Chapter 3 The Promise is Fulfilled. Mullah Hussein was faithful to the Bab's instructions. He told no one of his discovery, even though a large number of the followers of Sayyid Kazem soon gathered about him. They recognized a new spirit in Mullah Hussein's speech and marveled at it, unaware that during the source of his knowledge and power flowed from the Bab, whose coming all of them were so eagerly awaiting. During those days, Mullah Hussein states, I was summoned to visit the Bab on several occasions. Every time I visited him, I spent the entire night in his presence. Wakeful until dawn, I sat at his feet, fascinated by the charm of his utterance and oblivious of the world and its cares. How rapidly those precious hours flew by! At each daybreak, I would reluctantly withdraw from his presence. How eagerly in those days I looked forward to the approach of the evening hour. With what feelings of sadness and regret I beheld the dawning of day. In the course of one of those nightly visits, the Bab addressed me in these words: Tomorrow, 13 of your companions will arrive. To each of them extend the utmost loving kindness. Pray to God that He may graciously enable them to walk securely in that path which is finer than a hair and keener than a sword. Some of these companions the Bab told Mullah Hussein would become his chosen disciples. Others would be neither warm nor cold, while still others would remain undeclared until that future day when he for whom the Bab himself was but the herald appeared. The next morning, Mullah Ali, Mullah Hussein's close friend, arrived in Shiraz, accompanied by 12 companions. He at once noted the great change which had taken place in Mullah Hussein. He was struck by the tranquil radiance of his face, and suspected the truth. How is it, Mullah Ali asked, that we see you teaching the people with the utmost tranquillity and no longer searching? Agitation and expectancy have vanished from your face. I beg of you, bestow upon me a portion of what you have found, for only that can quench my thirst and ease the pain of my longing in my heart. Mullah Hussein refused. Do not entreat me to grant this favor, he begged Mullah Ali. Let your trust be in God, for He will surely guide your steps. So great was the joy that shone from Mullah Hussein's face that Mullah Ali could no longer bear to be deprived of that secret. By prayer and fasting, he sought desperately to remove the veil that separated him from the Beloved. On the third night of his retirement, while wrapped in deep prayer, Mullah Ali had a vision. There appeared before his eyes a light, and lo, it moved off before him. Allured by its matchless beauty, he followed it until at last it led him to a certain door. He knew immediately that the treasure was within. He awoke in a state of great rapture. Although it was the middle of the night, he rushed to Mullah Hussein. His face was aglow with happiness. He threw himself into the arms of his friend. Mullah Hussein realized at once that Mullah Ali at last knew the truth. He knew where to find his beloved. He embraced Mullah Ali lovingly and said, Praise be to God, who have guided us. That very morning, at break of day, Mullah Hussein, followed by Mullah Ali, hastened to the residence of the Bab. At the entrance, they were met by the Bab's much loved Ethiopian servant, who immediately recognized them. He greeted them with these words: "Before break of day I was summoned to the presence of my master, who instructed me to open the door of the house and to stand expectant at its threshold. Two guests, he told me, are to arrive early this morning. Extend to them in my name a warm welcome. Say to them from me, enter therein in the name of God." The first meeting of Mullah Ali with the Bab differed greatly from the first meeting of Mullah Hussein with the Bab. At the previous meeting, the Bab had offered proofs of his mission for Mullah Hussein to weigh and study. At this meeting, all such matters had been put aside, and a spirit of intense love and ardent fellowship prevailed. The very chamber, said Mullah Ali, seemed to have been vitalized by his utterance. Everything in the room seemed to be vibrating with his testimony. Verily, the dawn of a new day has broken. The promised one is enthroned in the hearts of men. In his hand he holds the mystic cup of immortality, and blessed is he who drinks therefrom. One by one, 17 separate souls searched for the Bab, met him, and accepted his teachings. Among these disciples there was one woman. She was called Tahireh, the pure. She accepted the Bab without ever attaining to his presence. She saw him in the world of vision and became a staunch believer, a courageous teacher, and finally a martyr. One night, while conversing with Mullah Hussein, the Bab said to him, 17 have thus far enlisted under the standard of the faith of God. Tomorrow night, the remaining letter will arrive and will complete the number of my chosen disciples. The next evening, as the Bab, followed by Mullah Hussein, was returning to his home, a youth appeared. He was travel-stained and weary from his long journey. His name was Qudus. He approached Mullah Hussein, embraced him, and asked him if he had yet attained to his heart's desire. Mullah Hussein tried to calm him. He advised him to rest for a while, saying that he would speak to him later. The youth, however, refused to rest. He looked past Mullah Hussein at the retreating figure of the Bab. Then turning to Mullah Hussein, he said, "Why do you seek to hide him from me? I can recognize him by his gait. I testify that none beside him, whether in the east or the west, can claim to be the truth. None other can manifest the power and majesty that radiate from his holy person." Mullah Hussein marveled at these words. He pleaded with him to restrain his feelings, promising that the truth would be unveiled to him soon. Leaving him, Mullah Hussein hastened to join the Bab. He told him of his conversation with the young man. "Marvel not at this strange behavior," the Bab said. "We have in the world of the spirit been communing with that youth. We know him already. We indeed awaited his coming. Go to him and summon him forthwith to our presence." Mullah Hussein instantly recalled the prophecy given for the time of the end. On the last day, the men of the unseen shall, on the wings of the Spirit, traverse the immensity of the earth, shall attain the presence of the Promised One, and shall seek from him the secret that will resolve their problems and remove their perplexities. Now, when this 18th disciple, known as Qudus, had accepted him, the Bab addressed them, saying, "Raise the cry, awake, awake, for lo, the gate of God is open, and the morning light is shedding its radiance upon all mankind. The promised one has come. Prepare the way for him, O people of the world." The Bab gave a special message of assurance to Mullah Ali. Your faith must be immovable as the rock, must weather every storm and survive every calamity. Suffer not the denunciations of the foolish to turn you from your purpose. You are the first to leave the house of God and to suffer for his sake. If you be slain in his path, remember that great will be your reward, and goodly the gift which will be bestowed upon you. No sooner were these words uttered than Mullah Ali arose from his seat and set out to teach the faith of the Bab. True to the Bab's forewarnings, Mullah Ali was overtaken and beaten just beyond the gate of Shiraz. He was the first to suffer for the new faith. He was also the first to bring news of the Bab to Tahereh. In Najaf he was arrested for fearlessly proclaiming the faith. He was bound with chains and taken to Baghdad under sentence of death. He was cast into prison, tried again, and still in chains ordered to Constantinople. Some say he died en route. Some say he was later martyred. No one knows what eventually befell this hero of God. The Bab summoned all of the others to his presence, and to each one he gave a special command and a special task. He spoke to all of them these parting words: O my beloved friends, you are the bearers of the name of God in this day. The very members of your body must bear witness to the loftiness of your purpose, the integrity of your life, the reality of your faith, and the exalted character of your devotion. Ponder the words of Jesus addressed to his disciples as he sent them forth to propagate the cause of God. Ye are even as the fire which in the darkness of the night has been kindled upon the mountaintop. Such must be the purity of your character and the degree of your renunciation, that the people of the earth may through you recognize and be drawn closer to the Heavenly Father, who is the source of purity and grace. In his parting message to his disciples, the Bab once again called attention to the one who was to come after him, and for whom he was but the herald. He sent each one of them back to his own province to teach. I am preparing you for the advent of a mighty day, he told them. Exert your utmost endeavor that, in the world to come, I, who am now instructing you, may, before the mercy seat of God, rejoice in your deeds and glory in your achievements. Scatter throughout the length and breadth of this land, and with steadfast feet and sanctified hearts, prepare the way for his coming. Heed not your weaknesses and frailty. Fix your gaze upon the invincible power of the Lord, your God, the Almighty. Arise in his name. Put your trust wholly in him, and be assured of ultimate victory. With such words as these, the Bab quickened the faith of his disciples and launched them upon their mission.